Hatcher Show. I'm Brad Radice alongside the head coach of the Samford Bulldogs, Chris Hatcher. 42-7, Baylor downs our Samford Bulldogs. Coach, I know it was a hot one there in Waco. Initial thoughts from the game?
A lot more positives than negatives. You know, you go into the game knowing you're outmanned. Yeah, team knows that, and our plan was we had to weather the early storm, if you will, and then you just kind of hang around the net and hope you have a chance in the fourth quarter. Baylor jumped out to a 14-0 lead right off the get-go. Things didn't look well, and then our offense went to work and had an 80-yard touchdown drive. Defensively, we intercepted them on the next possession, had second and goal from the 9, and then lo and behold, the old turnover bug hits us again. Had an opportunity to tie the game, or at least come away 14-10 and feeling really good about ourselves. So at the end of the day, I thought that our offense and defensive lines were extremely physical, which is going to bode well moving down the road. We ran the ball efficiently, and then defensively, I thought, we played pretty good. We gave up a few explosive plays, which you probably knew was going to happen. But the second half, we held them to 7 points and played really well on third down. So other than a block punt, special teams was pretty clean for the most part of the night. Again, more positives than negatives. I think our guys came away feeling, hey, we do have a good team, coach, and we clean these things up. We're going to be better. On the flip side, I have been in these games where you came away and, you felt really bad about yourselves too, even though you knew what you were getting into. The guys traveled well. They were professional. It was an awesome environment for our players to play in. All in all, other than the outcome, I took away more positives than anything else.
Let's talk about that sequence. Samford, you guys are no stranger to giving some of these big Power 5 teams, Power 4 now, fits. You guys intercept the ball, like you said, drive down. You're on the cusp of tying it, have a little bit of momentum, but just can't finish the deal.
No, it was. We had a run play called, and then we decided we checked it to a little quick pass into the boundary, and unfortunately the ball popped out. Those are the momentum plays that have plagued us last season and this season, and at some point, the worms got to turn in our favor. There are things that we talk about, we practice. We just have to make better decisions and somehow or another take care of the ball, especially in a game where we wasn't going to consistently be able to drive the ball for 4 quarters. Right. So when we have our chances, when you're overmatched in a game like that, you have to take advantage of them. And that was one that we let slip through our fingers. Again, would it have affected the outcome of the game? I don't know, but boy, it sure would have been a lot closer there at halftime. And it's always fun in a, quote, money game to be in it when you go in at half.
I have no doubt it would have made things a lot more interesting. But talk about that mental aspect of the game. When you're driving to tie Baylor and something like that happens, I imagine it takes a lot of air out of the sails.
It does, because you have to play a more perfect game when you're outmanned. And then all of a sudden, you're sitting there, you're down 14, and this could get ugly. And then boom, 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 some good things happen to you. No matter who you're playing, our red zone production has to improve. We've been playing by turnovers, but when there are turnovers in the red zone, it's really bad. And we have to be a better red zone offense.
You mentioned the rush attack. We normally talk about the passing game, but you did find that run game. C.J. Evans, 13 carries, 53 yards. I feel like that took a step forward against Baylor.
It absolutely did. Our 9-play touchdown drive, 6 of those were runs, right up the middle. I thought that he ran well. I thought that we blocked well, and we had other good drives where we ran the ball well. And knowing with the type of defense we're playing, we had to add some extra protection layers. That means there's fewer people going out on route. So throwing the ball down the field, we knew going in was going to be very difficult, that we had to be able to run the ball up the middle. And I really believe we took a step in the right direction there. I thought that our pass pro improved during the ball game. So I'm an optimistic guy at heart, but I think we did some things in the ball game in all three phases better than we did game 1 and 2. And that's what you want to see. You want to see your team, especially as young and inexperienced as we are, get better week in and week out.
The run game, people might not fully understand. How much does a successful run game help you guys in the pass attack?
Oh, it's tremendous. I think in any level of ball, successful teams can run the ball when they want to, and then they have to be able to stop the run.
Yeah.
And you ask any coach, the key to being successful is all predicated on those two things.
Yes.
And they sound very simple. They're difficult to do. You have to do that in order to win, and we put a lot of emphasis on that.
I have to ask you about the touchdown catch. Torrey Ward, he's a Helena guy. I live in Helena, so we're cheering him on. Watched him play quite a bit on Friday nights. He had 5 catches, 60 yards. He seems to be coming on for you guys a little bit. But I imagine that toss might have been the longest waiting for it in the air.
I would agree with you. Please get there. Please get there. Torrey's kind of indicative of the team we have. When he got here in the summer, it was kind of toss up, hey, is this guy going to be ready to help us this year? True freshman, and played college ball the first time. So you're not sure. And then slowly as we went through the summer and then we go through camp, he just kept getting better and better and better and better. And to me, that's the maturation of a freshman. We have a lot of guys in his same situation. So it was good. First collegiate touchdown. C.J. Evans, he calls himself Kyler Murray because we've been practicing this play all week. And actually, he had been throwing dimes all week. So his new nickname is Skyler Murray for throwing that ball, a moon ball. But, hey, it was effective. It worked. And we got on the scoreboard.
No offense to CJ, but I was joking that Devlin would have shot that duck down.
Well, there's no question about it, but it was a well-designed play by our offensive staff. Perfect timing for them to call that play. And again, it's kind of like golf. It doesn't matter. Nobody writes out how it looked.
100%.
Look at the end result, and it equated in a touchdown to cut the lead 14-7.
100%. The defense, you mentioned, Baylor hadn't thrown an interception in 2 games leading up to then. You guys get 2 of them on them.
Well, I think Coach Sloan and our defensive staff do a fine job. I think if there's been one bright spot this season has been our defensive play. If you were just somebody who didn't follow Samford and looked at all the scores, a lot of those scores came from, fumbles or picks picked up for touchdowns, special team miscues, turnovers deep in our area. I thought that we played solid. Does that mean we don't need to improve? Absolutely not. I think we can be an elite defense in the Southern Conference if we clean some things up. But we showed him some different looks. Our guys broke on the ball well. Actually, I thought that Niall Perkins intercepted the ball later on in the game that we didn't get. But that has been a bright spot for us defensively. Now, if we could just hold on to the ball on the offensive side, well, I would imagine we would be pretty close to tops in the country in turnover ratio.
It's on to Western Carolina on the road this weekend. You mentioned earlier in the week that this might be a little bit of a reset time for you guys, getting Baylor under your belt.
I think so. The way the season started, this is a great time to say, hey, this is a new season for us. And we've taken that approach, and our guys have bought into that approach. First of all, great respect for Western Carolina. Kerwin Bell's their head coach. We would go way back. He's turned Western into a perennial top 20 football team, and we expect them to be hitting on all cylinders. They've had a rough start, very similar to us. I think one thing that's hurt them, Tevon Dix, their quarterback, who to me was one of the best in the league last year, has not played game 1, 2, or 3. We expect him to be playing this weekend, and he's a difference maker. We're going to have to show him a lot of different looks and keep him corralled because he's a dual threat type of guy. And then offensively, we got to find a way to score touchdowns.
Sure.
And we got to find a way to push the ball down the field. And then on top of that, to me, when Western's rocking, it's family weekend. It's one of the more difficult places to play. So it's time for our team to take the next step. And I'm hoping we can do that this Saturday in Cullowhee, North Carolina.
You mentioned Worcester's defense. What makes it so difficult for against them? I know they like to play up close and really challenge your wide receivers on those short routes.
They do. They're a very aggressive defense.
Yeah.
And, they do a lot of movement with their front, which causes a lot of problems for offensive line. And then they just play tight. It's more of a matchup type defense for the fan, like you would in basketball. And they do a great job of switching things off, but they do challenge you.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be one of those teams that just sits back and lets you dink and dunk them all day. They're going to challenge you. They play with a hard edge. Their defensive coordinator, Coach Odoms, he's a good guy. I've known him for a while. They'll be ready to play, and I think we will be too.
Outside of getting a win this weekend, what would be something that would make you happy as a coach after this game?
I would like us just to play winning football in all three phases of the game.
Gotcha.
When I went in our team meeting on Monday, I showed the touchdown, I showed our turnovers that we forced, and I said, that's what we have to have more of this to win ball games.
Right.
I said the average fans, that's what they see. These are highlights.
Yeah.
And then I took the possession, we came out of half. We 3-and-out. They punted us deep in our territory. We got a first down, moved it out. We had about a 45-yard punt for a 1-yard return and flipped the field.
That's right.
And I said, most people don't even look at that. I said, that's winning football. And I said, we have to make the routine plays because those turn into the explosives, and we have to do it more consistently. That's what's played us. That's what I would like to see this Saturday. And if we can do that, that will give us a chance to be victorious.
Yep. It's in there. Let's hope we see it Saturday from the Samford Bulldogs on the road at Western Carolina. And we'll be back this time next week to break it all down.